Welcome to Hanging Out with Robert, that's me. This video contains things that I encounter throughout the day. If for some reason I complete a task and you would like to see the details, you can click on the link in the description area below. This video also contains tips and tricks that I learned throughout the years. I plan on leaving this video accessible for about 30 days. After that, you can view it through my Patreon account. Thank you very much for watching. Kicking off the Tinker Day in the flooded two-stack jets. I forgot a fuel line out here the other day, so hopefully that fuel line is still there. And I need to see how this fuel pump is hooked up in this C70 so that I can get this stuff done. So cross my fingers. Hopefully they hadn't disturbed that fuel line. It was Saturday afternoon. They were closed Sunday. This is Monday morning. I should be good to go. So let's go check it out. There it is, folks. It is still in the aisle, looking like it got smashed by a truck or something in an accident. I should be okay to find my fuel line. So I'm going to try to access the fuel pump, see how that's hooked up. That's the fuel line I left out here the other day. So hopefully I can find out what I need. There's a wasp nest up there. Stay away from that. Let me access this fuel pump, see what the top of it looks like. On this C70, the fuel line comes from the front of the car, back of the engine, and it comes through here. This is like a fuel pressure regulator. The vacuum line that goes up to the purge valve goes on the front. The back of this is the other line that goes on top of the fuel pump. Unfortunately, I cut that, so I'll have to figure out how to get that back together. But I should have pulled that return line with that line and not cut that off. So really, I could probably use the return line that's on the car, but I'm going to take this just in case. So let me go ahead and get out of here. What's happening, party people? I am still working on Byron's rear end swap. I think this is day 4. There's a decent write-up in Matthew's Volvo site about that, but just wasn't as complete and clear as I'd like. Also, I went to the junkyard a couple days ago to get a fuel line, and I left the fuel line in the junkyard because I got distracted getting other things. I had rolled the fuel line up, put it in my bag, and then seen a couple other things that I should probably get. Got that stuff, took the fuel line out of the bag, and left it laying across the hood at the junkyard. So I went back and got that this morning. Besides that, I still have some of you guys that are eager for me to visit your location. And I do understand that, man, it's taking me longer than expected. Heck, I'm almost 2 years behind on a couple of people, like this red R for my buddy Manny. We were supposed to do that car almost a year and a half ago. So yes, I'm running behind, trying to get it done. But as you all know, whenever I get started on a job, several other things pop up and I'm there longer than expected. So it takes me longer. What could take me a day and a half or 2 days might take me a week, by the time we get done doing all the extra things. And I'm okay with that, but it does push my schedule back. I'm not like your normal garage. You can't park the car outside and I get to it really quick. A lot of garages won't even do project stuff like I do because it pushes their schedule back so far, and they have people that need cars running, don't have spare cars. Fortunate for us, most of you guys have extra cars that are running fine, and you always have something to drive. Gregory was the only one that I know of lately that did not have a car running, so I needed to get out to New York, get that cylinder head on his car. Unfortunately for me, he is processing that thing through a warranty claim, and they still haven't, to my knowledge, paid on the warranty. So anyway,
I'm getting around to it. What I'm going to do each Monday, I'm going to put a list of people that is in the queue. Next, next. I'm going to put the current person. Like today, it's Byron. Tomorrow, hopefully, it'll be James. The next day, I'm going out of town. It'll be this person. Then the next day, it'll be this person. And then the next person after that will be this person. So I'm going to put 5 across the top. If you don't see your name in that queue, you know you're 6, 7, 8 down the line. So right now, I'm working on Byron's car. Tomorrow, I'm going to be working on James's car, hopefully. The next day, I should be on my way to work on this person's car. After him, I'll be working on probably Jim's car. And then after that, I'll be working back on Uncle Steve's car. Then I'm going to go out to finish Manny's car, then back to Jim's car because he's doing a tune. We'll probably have to go back and forth to do just tunes, do pulls, send that file out. So I'll probably visit Jim 3 or 4 times while I'm out there in that area and hopefully have work in between those times so that we can get his tune close or good enough for that car to run well. Then I got a guy that's been waiting for me to finish his exhaust and tune in Virginia. After that, headed back home and headed to Chicago. So this guy, my buddy Cleve in Virginia, man, he's been waiting for, gosh, but probably October be 2 years. So his car does run, but it's not right because he's had a turbo modification. He needs a downpipe for that thing, and he needs that exhaust finished up. Then he needs to send in some tune files because he bought a tune from Vass that has not been installed in the car yet because we're still waiting on that downpipe. So anyway, that's where I'm at. Get back out to Chicago, be out there as long as I can, and take care of everybody there. So that's, I don't know if there's any better way to say that. A lot of you guys are saying, hey, Robert, when you coming to Chicago? I tell you, and those days come and go because the people that are in the queue haven't gotten their stuff taken care of yet. So I wish I had a better explanation of the schedule, but I don't. Anyway, it's raining here a little bit. I'm getting close to being done with Byron's rear end swap. I needed to get the fuel system figured out, which I believe I have now. And I need to button that stuff up. I got the brake lines installed. I got the fuel system stuff figured out. I got this crazy mount on the side of the transmission done. And man, that's kind of a mess. I need to figure out a better way to deal with that. That was really a strange thing with that. So anyway, let me go ahead and get this video up today. Hopefully it's not raining so bad that I can't finish up Byron's rear end conversion. And then hopefully I will see James and put his S70 back together tomorrow. Hopefully that's a one-day deal. Everything should be welded up, bolt everything on the front. He should be good to go. So thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video and have a great week. Here we go. Back to the Byron zone. Gonna work on getting this car finished up. We got a few more things to do, namely the fuel line, the brake lines, the parking brake system. Oh my gosh. I didn't realize all of this parking brake system stuff was gone. I think I got everything I need. Then I'm going to put new rotors on it, set the parking brake stuff, and put the suspension together. So let me hook up this fuel thing. Actually, I need to cut this exhaust pipe.
found somebody that's going to weld the exhaust together. The pipe is a little too long up front. I'm going to make it so only maybe an inch of it goes into that front pipe. Instead of right now, it's like 3 inches. And then I'm going to work on the fuel line, the brake lines, hook this thing up and keep this ball rolling. So let me cut this pipe first. And I'm going to try to get this stuff done in between these rainfalls. I've been having a little rain here and there, but hopefully we'll get some stuff done before it rains again. And if it doesn't rain hard, I can always put the canopy up. I have this exhaust set in here. It's not going to hurt to leave it like this until I get the welder over here. So I'm going to leave that like this and deal with these fuel lines. Located a fuel filter for this thing. The C70 arrangement fuel line and stuff has a smaller filter, but this one will be fine for this. I think this one still had the longer filter. It's about the length of the line, not so much the filter that was on there. Yeah, that's a larger, longer filter. I can't remember when we put that one on there, but we did install that. Shoot, it's 276. It's had about 20,000 miles on it. Maybe I'll just put that one on there. The newer fuel filters have a barb on the fuel filter that I believe this locks onto. So this old fuel filter may not be a good idea because it doesn't have this release on the fuel line like this other thing does. So, it's a little different. Let me think about it and try to get the rest of this stuff in order. Well, I got a little confused at the auto parts store. This thing has nylon up at that end and nylon real close to this pressure regulator, but I thought this was nylon too, but it's actually rubber hose. So I need a piece of metal to put between here and clamp this together so that I have this properly fixed. I thought I had nylon to nylon in here, but I don't. So let me see if I got something to clamp onto. I could put nylon in between there, but it'd probably be better to have the metal thing there. I did buy a metal connection thing, but I don't think this is going to fit on there. So let me check that out. When I was at the C70, wasn't 100% sure, but I figured I would take this pressure regulator off. Because I've seen one on this car, I was going to swap it over. But now I realize that was not the best idea. This is the return fuel line going up to the fuel tank. I should not have cut that off. I'm going to try to bridge that together with one of these. And these screws were rusted. They're rusted on that one too. Not sure why. They have a nut on the other side of them. One of them I had to cut off. So I need to get another screw in there. I need to get a nut and a screw in there to hold this down. I think this just pops out of the fuel line. Probably has a seal in it that doesn't need to be damaged. I started pulling on it and I stopped. This side will hold on to that fuel filter post, but it may slide off. I'll see if it slides off. If it does, I'll tie it on with something. But the pressure is going through, so it shouldn't slide off, but we'll see. I could be tied on with wire or something like that. So I had to fix this fuel line or cut the one that's coming off of the car and bridge it onto that, connect it onto that, splice it into that, and then I need to get this secure with 2 screws. So I'm taking a screw out of there to find out the right size. Then I'll screw 2 screws in that fuel pressure regulator to hold that together. But on the older cars, that is all the way up near the front of the engine. On these newer cars, 99 and newer, that's all the way back by the fuel tank. Therefore, you only need 1 fuel line running up to the engine instead of 2, because the other one stays back here in this vacuum pressure octopus mess back here. So couldn't get enough rust out of that to get the T25 to unscrew it. So what I usually do is use these long handle tin snips. These things do really good by biting the head of the screw and twisting that out. Twisted it all the way out. Then I put it in the other side, pulled it out of that casting that it was in. So I'm gonna find a couple of these screws. They look familiar, so I'm sure I can find a couple of clean ones. And then I'm gonna tighten that fuel regulator back down on that line with some fresh screws. Well, these appear to be M4s by 0.75, maybe. I don't know how many centimeters those are, but the other M4s I have are too small. I got this, which seems to grab the nut and tighten in, so I'm gonna go back with one of those that I could get the bit in and put that in the other side, and then take that screw and maybe see if I can find a couple, or see if Volvo sells them. And there we have it, folks. That is secured once again. What the other side looks like. Now I'm going to try to take this part I bought from the auto parts store and splice this back together with the line that goes back up to the fuel pump. I cut that there. So actually I'm going to look for the one that has come out of the car, is coming down, and see if I can hook that one up. This is not going to work because it is rubber hose instead of the smaller vinyl tubing. So I'm going to go get a barbed metal fitting and a couple of small clamps to put this together. Pick these up from AutoZone. The part number is 800-011. That fits inside here up into the vinyl. There's vinyl in there, but I'm gonna clamp that on there. So there's vinyl in here further. I probably could have cut this back some. Not sure where I cut that off here. Oh, yeah. So it just had a little bend that's not vinyl. So about 1 inch in there is vinyl. I don't understand why this had this hose here and some vinyl in there. Doesn't make any sense. Anyway, I'm gonna clamp this together. Wow, this is strange. Hold on a minute. I'm starting to wonder if there was vinyl in here that got pulled out and cut. Because there's vinyl right to here, and then there's vinyl right to here. So I just have this one piece, 2 inches, that's not vinyl. Man, that's got me wondering what's going on here. Anyway, I'm gonna put this in the middle of it and clamp it, and hopefully that'll do it. We'll see. And I'm gonna run that up to the tank, plug that into the tank, and if it leaks, I'll cut the line I have and bridge it vinyl to vinyl, because it feels like the line that's through there is vinyl all the way. And I'm gonna unplug this line from here. I think it's the right one, and save it in case somebody needs a front wheel drive fuel line going from the tank all the way up to the engine, where all that pressure regulator and stuff connects. So this fuel line coming from the return on the tank into this rubber is actually nylon coated with rubber. So I'm going to cut some of this rubber back and put this nylon kind of a shark bite thing on there. See, it says nylon fuel line press fitting union, and to fix where this got cut off of that C70. I could feel the nylon in there about 1/2 inch back here and about 1/8 of an inch back there. So
Let me cut this rubber back enough to get this pressed on. So I got the rubber cut back from here and here, and I'm going to push this on there, and that's going to make that tight, but this is like a permanent connection on here. So let me push these in here, and that'll be that. Now I'm not sure if this is a release thing in here. This blue thing, if you push that in, it will release it. I'm gonna try that, but right now I got both sides of it pressed in. Now I need to hook up this line here, this vacuum line, to this piece here, and I got another one for that. So I'm gonna cut this about here and use this other nylon fitting for that, and then I'm gonna plug this up to the fuel pressure regulator and run the other end of this all the way up to the engine. And then this one that I cut from the old one, I'm gonna pull that out, and I guess just keep it just in case I have to in the future. Yes, those blue things are released. That can allow that to be released in the future. So I got the fuel return line off the pressure regulator hooked up, and I got the vacuum line to the pressure regulator hooked up. So I'm running that stuff up front in the sleeve, and I'll hook it up front. Next thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna drop the shocks down through here and secure them inside there, and then I'm gonna get the springs, put the rubber upper pieces on them, and drop the spring securing things to the bottom down through the springs, and I'm gonna put the springs in place, jack this up, and start the bolts with the brackets in through here through the bottom. I'm gonna hang this trailing arm arrangement. I'm going in with the Bilstein Touring. You can go with anything you want back here, including the Neva mats. And I have the shock mounts already attached to them, so I'm going to go ahead and install these. The bolts that was holding those shock mounts on, the old ones, were pretty nasty. Looked like they had some corrosion buildup, so I found some cleaner ones that I'm gonna install. Well, the driver's side strut mount bolts kinda didn't tighten. They started spinning, so I stopped. So I think I need to put a longer bolt in there and then put a nut on it so that those things don't come loose. Let me see if I got a longer screw. I think I do. Yep, there it is. Longer screws. Let me find a nut that'll fit on them so I could run these down there and then put a nut on them. Volvo stuff is not known for having nuts in them, but I did find 2 nuts, so let me run these down there and run these nuts up on them. The springs I'm putting back here have the red mark on them. The part number is 3545893. I'm gonna see what those went to. I want at least T5 wagon springs, and it probably wouldn't be a bad idea to convert them to HD IPD springs, but this is what I got. This is what I'm putting in. I'm gonna put this on there, that on there, drop one of those down in there, and get ready to put this rear end in place. I set the bracket in place, loosely set a couple of 17s there, very loosely. Then I got the jack on this side, jacked it up where that was in position because it has that busted post. So it was easy to put in position. Then I went over the other side. I had a spare tire set under it. I didn't realize this, but that spare tire's got a rim damage. I need to pound that out with the sledge. Anyway, I got one of these bolts busted off in there, so I loosely put that one in there that holds up the muffler this bracket does. Started that one. Then I got this up in place and started that 18. Ran it up in there. It's not tight, but I got it running. Then I went over the other side, ran that 18 up in there. So now I'm setting these brake lines in place, hooking them up. And then I'm gonna put the springs in place, and then I'm gonna hook up the shock. I gotta make sure I get that shock on the right side of that ABS wire, or that'll be a mess. So let me move that while I'm thinking about it. Got both of these brake lines tight. Try not to over tighten them, because one day you may have to get them loose. I take them out of their clips to tighten them up, because you don't want to cross thread those. Cross thread them, you mess up the lines. Don't want to do that. So now that I got them in there and tight, I got this bracket secure. Now I can secure the brake lines back into their clip guides and get these springs installed and shocks installed. This is the orientation that I install the springs in. When I install them, the hook near the top around that triangle place thing. So that's just how I position it. Now I'm gonna put that down in there, tighten that down. You had to let the jack down so the suspension could hang down to get these springs in easy. If you feel that this information was useful, please like it and share it with your social media friends. You can subscribe to my channel so that you will get notifications of future videos that I post. You can follow me on Twitter, and if you need to contact me directly, please visit my website. And if you have any questions, leave them below, and someone or myself will reply to them. Again, thank you very much for watching.